Hello there duelists, welcome to a Marincess Deck Profile. Today I'm having another dive into a water deck. I've kind of got a soft spot for water archetypes, which is maybe a bit strange considering I was kind of always a Charmander kind of guy. Anyway, we have Marincess on the playmat today, a water Cyberse deck played by Sky from Vrains. This royal water archetype has never really been able to rise to the surface of the meta. But with recent reprints, I've given them a chance to swim. So let's get right on into it. So as always, it's monster first. So we've got 3 blue Tang starting things off. So blue Tang, in my opinion, is the best Marincess monster. He's a little tied to, or she should I say, is a little tied to the normal summon. But basically when it's summoned, you get to foolish a Marincess monster. And then if it's linked off for a Marincess link monster, you can reveal 3 cards and add a Marincess card out of the revealed cards. So it's all round great, you know, it gives you kind of extension and sets up all of your plays. From there we've got Marincess Pascalus. So this one was one of the ones that didn't get a reprint in the Megatins actually, so it's kind of gone up in price a bit, but it's still pretty cheap I think if you can kind of work your way into a deal. But basically it's a tin goldfish, so on summon you can special summon a Marincess monster from hand. It's also got a secondary effect that you can banish it from the graveyard as long as it wasn't sent there this turn to add a Marincess spell or trap, which I will admit comes up pretty rarely. I think you always end up recurring the cards back to your hand, so it never really sits in the graveyard for that long. From there we've got Marincess Sea Horse, which is kind of like the OG good Marincess card. So what she can do is she can special summon herself to a zone Marincess link monster points to, and then you can also, it's got a similar effect to Pascalus in which you can banish it the turn it wasn't sent to the graveyard to special summon a Marincess monster from the hand. Finally, I'm running 3 Marincess Mandarin, and I think a lot of people tend to cut her, but I just think that you kind of need to maximise on your playable Marincess cards, and I think that's one of the things I'd say about Marincess is that they just don't have that many playable cards, which is really a shame because the archetype is overall pretty good. Mandarin can special summon itself from the hand or graveyard to a zone link monster points to, as long as you've got 2 Marincess cards on the field, or Marincess monsters should I say, on the field. And that rounds up the Marincess portion. So there we're playing some water extenders, so I'm playing 3 Silent Angler, so this guy can be special summoned if you control a water monster, but you can't special summon from your hand for the rest of the turn. It's level 4, makes Bahamut Shark, etc. From there running 3 Swap Frog, which I think a lot of people have kind of cut, but just making Toadally Awesome the raw way is, you know, always fairly decent. So, you know, discard a water monster to summon it, it's not once per turn, you can bounce back to your hand, additional frog, normal summon. It also dumps on foolish, so the dump target is Ronintoadin, which is banish a frog monster from the graveyard to special summon itself, and again that's not once per turn, so Swap Frog kind of becomes multiple link resources at the very least. And because the archetype's fairly consistent and small, you can fit in a lot of tech choices, and I've chosen to go for the route of multiple hand traps, many hand traps, just because you don't have that much inherent disruption in the Marincess archetype. So I've gone for 3 Ash Blossom, it hits pretty much everything, 3 Effect Veiler, which could change up for Infinite Impermanence should you wish, or you know, wish to bump up the price by $100. I've opted just for Effect Veiler because most of the time it hits the same stuff. And then finally I've gone for 2 Ghost Ogres, which again is just some slightly more disruption. I'm not a huge fan of Ghost Ogre, if I'm being honest. I much prefer the more versatile Ash and Effect Veiler, but it's still a very solid, you know, disruption card, and you know, the pop is obviously great. And onto the spells. So we're running 3 Pot of Desires, which I don't really like running 3 Pot of Desires in decks most of the time. I just think it shows that you need that extra draw power to make the deck work, but I think that these guys, they've not really got anything that they desperately need to keep in deck, and the stuff that you need to keep in deck you can kind of search out very easily, so this is just an easy way of getting extra hand resources, and Marincess tend to play from the hand, which is where you want it. Cynet Mining is an obvious choice just because you get to search out your blue Tang or maybe Sea Horse, which is quite a good way of, you know, ploughing through that disruption on your normal summon. And then from there, we've got a few others. So we've got the Upstart Goblin, just for the extra draw power. 3 Called by the Graves. Oh wait, no, can't play those anymore. So I'm still playing the 1 Called by the Grave. I think that these guys, you know, they can be hit quite hard by, you know, the effect veiler on blue Tang or something like that. It's not the end of the world, and you can push past it, but it's definitely not easy. So for the time being, I'm still opting to run the single Caught by the Grave, RIP. From there, we've got the 1 Monster Reborn, kind of as, you know, recursion / recovery, and kind of extension. And then finally, the Marincess Battle Ocean. Super weird card. So all Marincess monsters gain 200, and they gain 600 for each monster equipped. And then if a Marincess Link monster is summoned to the extra monster, and you can equip 3 Link monsters from the graveyard. And then any Marincess Link monster that was summoned using Marincess Crystal Heart is unaffected by card effect, by opponent's card effects while it's on the field. So it's an unusual card, and this is kind of how you're putting up your kind of wall, which is kind of your first turn play. And then finally, 3 traps. I'm running Marincess Wave, which is super solid. This would be great if it was searchable. That's the real downside to the Marincess archetype, is that you can't search Marincess Wave. So if you control a Marincess Link monster, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. It gets effects. If you've got a Link 2 on board, all face-up monsters you currently control are unaffected by your opponent's card effects until the end of the turn. And then if you've got a Link 3, you can activate it from the hand, so it becomes kind of infinite and permanent-esque. So it's a really, really solid card, but you've got no way of getting it to your hand without just drawing it. Alright, and then finally onto the extra deck. So we're running the 1 Toadally Awesome. You know, just the disruption from Bahamut Shark is fairly easy to make, or we can make it using Swap Frog and Ronintoadin, and in that regard we'll be able to keep them on board because we'll be able to summon the Swap Frog from deck during the standby phase. From there, we're running Toadally Awesome's Trusted Companion, Bahamut Shark. If you've got, you kind of need, for the main combo, you need Blue Tang or Sea Horse plus Extender, and if you've got another Extender on top of that that's level 4, you can make Bahamut Shark in the combo, which is really quite good. And then Abyss Dweller, just to kind of lock out graveyard decks, and also, you know, in a water deck it fits super well because it gives everything 500 and stuff like that. So from there we've got Marincess Blue Tang. So when this is link summoned, you get to add back a Marincess card from your graveyard. You can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn apart from water monsters, which a few of the Marincess cards do, which I find really, really unnecessary. If you look at like Salamangre, they just don't have that same thing. Well, maybe apart from the XYZ, but you kind of get what I mean. It's just, it feels like there's a lot of restrictions on this archetype. From there we've got the 1 Marincess Sea Angel. So when this is link summon, you get to add a Marincess spell, and I think this is where they've really missed a beat. If you just added a spell or trap card, it would just be perfect. From there we've got Marincess Collaral Anemone. So this guy's 2 water monsters, so it's fairly generic. Special summon a water monster with 1500 or less attack from your graveyard to a zone that it points to, and then when it's linked off, or sorry, when it's sent to the graveyard at all, you get to add back a Marincess monster from graveyard. That's a Marincess card. Just messed it up entirely. Just, you know, read the card if you want to know what it does. So Marincess Crystal Heart. So this one's a super weird one. It's got a bunch of effects, but it barely matters. Like, it's unaffected and it can prevent itself from being destroyed by battle, etc. But it's basically a stepping stone into your bigger Marincess Link monsters, and to make them unaffected using the field spell. From there I've got a few kind of more generic Link 2s, which I think don't come up in that many other profiles, but I've got Splash Mage. This is a water that can special summon a Cynet Mining in defense position. And I think it's just a really useful card. You can only special summon Cynet monsters for the rest of the turn, so between these two you can really lock yourself out. But from there I've got some generic stuff, so Knightmare Phoenix, Knightmare Cerberus. What I found is that Marincess are really good at keeping resource going and maintaining in the duel, but anything like that requires destruction is beyond them, which is absolutely crazy. And then onto the Link 3s, we've got 1 Marincess Marbled Rock, so you can target 1 Marincess card in your graveyard and now back to your hand, which is obviously great. And then it can also prevent itself from battle destruction and also battle damage, which is a little bit weird and doesn't come up very often. And then I'm running one Shootingcode Talker, so this is normally what I'm doing going after my first turn, using Splash Mage to go to Shootingcode Talker, and Shootingcode Talker can attack all of your opponent's monsters once each, but it only has 1900 attack when it does that, and it can attack monsters your opponent controls up to the number of monsters it points to, so normally that's 2. And then you get to draw cards equal to the number of monsters it's destroyed by battle. And then finally, Marincess Great Bubble Reef, which I think is the only real Link 4 that you need to run. So you can banish a water monster, and you stand by face to draw a card, and then you can discard a water monster, special summon a Marincess, a banished Marincess. So it's just a really solid card, and your best wall. I just think the other Link 4 just isn't worth playing. Alright, so we submerged ourselves into the deck, and I feel like I shouldn't like Marincess as much as I do. They're fairly linear. I will admit they do have good resource management, but they don't really do anything. Even the wall that they're putting up isn't exactly very sturdy. An MST would pretty much solve it. The fact that you can splash a load of text / hand traps in helps, but for me they're never more than a 3 for meta relevance. Fun factor wise, I'm having trouble really pinning it down. I think that the Bubble Reef is where it's where it goes up for me, and it's a great addition. Kind of drawing cards is always going to be fun. So I'm going to go middle of the line again here, which feels like a bit of a cop out, but I don't think it's more than a 2 for me, definitely. So it's a 3. As for cost though, I really thought that due to the Megatin reprints, most of it wouldn't be too bad, but I really don't think the deck is worth the $180 estimated value, which is a shame. Marincess, an interesting one. Another couple of cards would really have pushed this deck to greater heights, but for now it's going to have to splash around in the kiddie pool of casual play. Thanks for watching.